Okay, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? What do you do? Where do you work?
My name is Angel Pizarro. I work at the University of Pennsylvania School of Medicine. Our shop deals with the research informatics of data that spans model organisms on through to small human clinical trials.
And what's this most sensitive information that you deal with?
Typically, the most sensitive information that we deal with is de-identified clinical patient records. So record report forms on small clinical trials from tens to hundreds of patients big. We have recently started collecting genomic information from these patients in order to do some associative studies, and genetic information is inherently identifiable. So there's really no way to de-identify genomic information. Security has become more of a focus and a concern for our group recently because of that.
So have you used any of the cloud computing vendors?
Have we used any of our cloud computing vendors? Actually, yes. We actually put in a grant. So the way our research informatics institutes usually run at academic medical centers is that you apply for grants for capital investment in hardware. We had a chance this past year, as our equipment was reaching end of life, to make that rent or buy decision that was based off of cloud computing, and we decided to follow our nose to a brave new world of renting compute from ultra large vendors and not have to worry about making sure the infrastructure is running, maintenance contracts, capital expenditures every 5 years. It makes it an easier budgeting process, and we've decided to move all of our infrastructure after initial tests onto a cloud computing vendor, specifically Amazon Web Services.
So on these cloud computing vendors, all of that very sensitive information is actually stored?
So in terms of sensitive information and storing onto cloud vendors, frankly, it's our opinion that their intrusion detection systems and their business processes for detecting intrusion is a lot more robust than our own infrastructure, which had one sysadmin supporting all aspects of it. We have monitoring in place and the regular patching, but unless you have dedicated 24/7 staff monitoring all network packets and possible intrusion detection and security experts, you're never going to beat the security monitoring of these large vendors. So for us, it's actually more secure to store on cloud vendors, mega cloud vendors like Amazon or IBM or Rackspace, because they have full-time security staff monitoring their systems.
So why do you think that a lot of companies are still staying away from cloud computing?
I think there's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt about cloud computing, especially in the healthcare space, medical centers and medical schools, about cloud computing. And invariably the issue of security comes up. And from what I've seen, it's not really security that they're worried about. It's more liability and who is liable in the case of a break-in. Certainly academic medical centers and health institutes and hospitals already outsource their corporate IT a lot of the time. They rent it from vendors who maintain hardware, software, and everything else in between. But usually those companies are willing to take on a certain amount of risk for the academic medical center.